If you like to drive around and talk about the latest happenings, this is the channel you need. So subscribe and follow Carmentary.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Carmentary. Once again, Neil Hartmann here, driving in my van, heading out to Niseko. Thought I'd take a few minutes to talk to you about a subject I'm quite passionate about. Today's topic is photography and videography. So I pretty much make my living out of shooting video, editing video, taking photographs, editing photographs, dealing with clients, delivering projects and things that I've promised people. And then somehow in there, I'm able to write some invoices and send them off and hopefully get paid eventually. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into the business side of this today. What I wanted to talk about briefly was something, it's a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. As I'm getting older, I work now more with like some younger generation videographers, photographers, and not always younger, but just different people. And something kind of has been nagging at me a little bit, and I thought I'd talk about it today. And maybe it gives you a hint if you are someone who's into videography, photography, etc. This might be something that you can sort of input into the brain, and it might help you shoot better photos, shoot better video, or work better with clients, etc. The main thing is it's a vocabulary thing. It's a way we think about what we do. So the word take a picture. This is kind of a word I have a problem with, or I'm starting to have a problem with. Hey, let's go take a picture. I'm gonna go take some video, or another way would be to say shoot some video. I think now we kind of use it as a slang way of saying it. I gotta go shoot some video today. I gotta go shoot some pictures today. Same thing. This word, I think every time you say it, it reinforces a bad thought process or a bad thought cycle for the videographer and the photographer. I think the word that we should all be using is make photographs and make video. I gotta go make some video. I have to go make some photos, okay? I think people, nowadays everything's digital, of course. You go out, you snap these pictures, you get home, you get it into your editing software, whatever that may be, and then I think people maybe switch over to the it's called editing, but another way would be to like making a photo. There are people out there who primarily use Photoshop to make their photos, maybe shooting 20 photos of the same scene, come home, get into Photoshop, spend hours and hours like putting all that stuff together, layers, whatever, and then they've made a photo. But I think we need to keep that thought process and that word in the brain even before you leave your house in the morning and head out to go make your photo or make your video. And I really think this is something that people forget or take for granted, and in the long term it's not good when you have that, oh, I'm just gonna go take some photographs attitude. To elaborate a little further, I think we have really high-tech equipment. Even if your main piece of equipment is a smartphone, if there are people out there who make their livings off of shooting video and photos with smartphones. So I'm not against that. I'm not dissing that at all. The equipment does not matter. I think it's the mental state. And when you have that sort of thought of, I'm gonna go take some pictures, you're very maybe journalistic or very documentary in your style. Now, that is one style that does work, and you can go about it in that manner. I think that's okay. But I think it's a very small percentage of video and photo creativity, or as a style that truly like indifferent. I don't ask anybody to like stand in a certain spot. I just show up with my camera. I take exactly what's happening. I don't interact with my subjects. Yes, okay, that is a style. But to truly become successful, make a good living with that style, I think is really, really hard. There are people out there who've been very successful with that, and I think it looks easy, or it feels like, oh, I can do that. You just got to show up with the camera, click, create this body of work, and you're ready to go. Tough. Especially the people I'm kind of talking to, maybe the people who follow me, either shoot a lot of snowboarding, surfing, skateboarding, other sports, active kind of stuff, tourism, promotion kind of work, whatever. If that's more your like field of work, then I think my advice is good for you. You need to have that thought in your head of, I'm gonna go make a video, I'm gonna make a photograph on location, I'm gonna take all that stuff home, and I'm gonna make it even better in the editing process. So that means when you're out there in the field, you're on location, you've got the camera, whatever your device is, and if you have that thought, okay, I gotta really make this happen, then it opens up a whole world of opportunities. It kind of forces you to really interact with your subjects, whether that's a landscape, a person, an animal, whatever, And the other reason I say this is that, there's a lot of technical settings and things you have to deal with on your camera or your device, whether that's, shutter speeds, apertures, white balance, whatever. Even before you have to deal with the person or the pet or whatever it is you're shooting, you got all this stuff to do on your device. And that's where, to me, the thought of, I gotta make a photograph is super important. You gotta really get in there and start working with these settings. I see too many people who consider themselves professional video or photographers, and they're I'll just shoot it on auto, man. The camera's smarter than me. This is true in some cases, and I'm not against using auto settings. I will do it myself, but there needs to be a reason for that too. So really getting in there, working with your settings, and then going that next step further and saying, okay, do I need to actually walk around, find the right angle? Do I need to interact with this person and say, hey, wait, stay there, let me go ahead, then you walk to me? Is it that kind of interaction? And then for video, obviously, it's super important. Even if you're the one, or even if you're not the one who's going to be editing and actually finishing the project, it's super important to think as though you were that person, right? You have to have the finished product visualized in your mind. Then you are going to be able to sort of edit as you shoot. That's my ultimate technique for videography, is to be truly editing the project live on location. That means you shoot a shot and you go, ooh, okay, that was kind of a nice wide shot. Boy, a nice close-up after that would look really good. Shoot the close-up. Now maybe the person who edits it sees it differently. They don't even use your close-up shot. But that's not the point. The point is you gave them options. You were thinking about the edit while you were shooting, and you were creating these different scenes. So, this is kind of getting long, and we could go on for another 3 to 7 hours. But the main thing I wanted to leave you with today is that thought, go out there, and every time you say to yourself, oh, I gotta go take some pictures today, I gotta go shoot some video today, stop yourself and say, no, I'm gonna go make some photos, I'm gonna go make some video, right? And then you'll have that real positive, interactive, kind of forward-thinking mental perspective, which I think is so important for capturing creative scenes. Now, if you want to take it even a step further, you can go into the real subtleties, right? I think a reason a lot of people don't become really interactive with their subjects, right? Like, you worry that it becomes unnatural. If you ask someone to wait and say, stand in the doorway or walk through the doorway for me, it can become really posed or really unnatural feeling, especially if they're not a professional model or a professional actor. Okay, I understand that. There's two ways to go about that. You can, well, one way is, that I like to do, is to actually like pre-read a scene. Now, what does that mean? Okay, you're with someone, you're filming someone. What I would do is like, okay, this person's gonna walk through that doorway soon. I know they gotta go grab their bag or whatever it is. So you jump ahead and you go through the doorway and then you stand there and wait for them to come because you just know that they're gonna come. It's almost like a little telepathy, you know? You gotta read minds a little bit. It's not impossible, okay? It's a little hit or miss, but it's not impossible. And that way you're gonna be able to capture really natural movement, but you're gonna have those nice kind of setup shots. The other way is to, you know, ask them, your subject, to do something or to move or whatever it is, but really be careful about how you shoot it, and of course the editing process too, so that it doesn't have that kind of unnatural, posed or fake kind of feeling. There is a way to do that. You just have to be really subtle with your technique in both the shooting and the editing. So keep that in mind. You know, I think people, yeah, well, that was just a little extra tidbit for you. Basically, get out there, shoot constantly, shoot all the time, and keep it in your head that you need to really make the creativity happen on site. And see if that changes your thought process at all. All right, that was a little something for the creatives out there. I really have been wanting to almost create a separate little show just for these kind of behind the scenes video and photo. You know, there's so many tutorials out there. There's so many people like talking about technique and all this stuff. I don't really know if I need to add to that, but every now and then I have some ideas that I think are a little different from your average tutorial, so we'll see if I can put something together. Thanks for tuning in to the Carmentary series. As always, appreciate y'all very much. Keep the comments coming, and I'll keep driving and keep talking. Drive safe.
If you like to drive around and talk about the latest happenings, this is the channel you need. So subscribe and follow Carmentary.